So Sherry and I are offered this condo in Marco Island, Florida, and for the Thanksgiving week. And we're like, well, shoot, we'll go to Marco Island, Florida, and who wouldn't want to go there in November when it's starting to get cold, So we get down there and it's great. We're moving through, our time, I think we had 5 or 6 days down there, whatever it was. And Thanksgiving Day comes and we're having to get footballs on and we had a great meal. And all of a sudden it just hits me. Like, this is the first time I can remember that Thanksgiving isn't really what it used to be.
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoe's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful inns for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Welcome, friends and allies, to the Exploring More podcast. Michael Thompson hanging out with the SJ Jennings and the SJ Jennings. And we are in the middle of a series on presence, right? I think this is the presence series.
Unwrapping presents.
And depending on how if you have a retainer in or not, presence.
Unwrapping
presence. Is it presence or presence?
Right.
And it's both. It's a yep. So this is a series on presence. And I think we ended the last episode and kind of now leaking into this one that, this is a challenging season. Mm-hmm. As much as it's one that you want to seize the opportunities, for those who want to be good gift givers or better gift givers, and the significance of your presence being the present.
Yeah.
And so, all of the things associated with that, and then turning kind of a hard turn into the blues, the depression, even despair that can happen. I've never been in a situation where, as a boy or as an adult, where it's the stuff that seems to, the movies are made of. I mean, poverty or being homeless, or anything that of that kind of circumstances. And so, which just adds fuel to a fire of hopelessness when your life circumstances are such as that.
I can't, just the one that popped into my head, and this is a fictional story, but it's a wonderful life. I mean, it's
bankruptcy,
it's
right?
bad, like jail, bankruptcy. I'm worth more dead than alive.
Right. Yeah. This holiday thing can really be a season of sorrow, despair.
Yeah. I mean, first times, right? I mean, the first, and you know what, man, if a person was important to you, it doesn't really matter how many it's been, I haven't had a Christmas with my dad in 30 plus years. Yeah. So, and even before that, I had moved away and all of that. So, but I still think about him, it's a time of, if there's people and everybody's experienced loss, right? So if there's people that were in your life and they're not anymore, it's not always because of death. Sometimes it's because they moved away. Sometimes it's, the death of a marriage, a divorce. Kids moving out is a big one. So, there's a thousand different examples of why the holidays can be hard. I think what we want to talk about and encourage is the idea that it's okay for you to embrace, and be
Sadness.
present to your feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the sidebar to that, where I would like to go for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
is, if that is you, yes, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, about being present to that sadness and actually the grief that's connected to all that, being angry, being numb,
Mm-hmm.
being sad, being distracted, all those things that can become part of the grief cycle. And you don't know when that thing's going to slow down or not dominate, your emotions and feelings. But SJ, I want to talk about what we could say to someone who's connected to that person. I know we've done a series on listening.
Mm-hmm.
I know I would just suggest Andy will put that up there, the listening guide.
Yeah.
But I want to talk specifically about, what not to do and what to do if you're the person that the gift is available to you to give.
Right.
Your presence.
And yes.
To someone
what does that mean?
Who is just not doing well. And how, potentially, a fire truck or a Red Sox hat or something like we've talked about in the last episode. I mean, those maybe that's something you can do, but to be okay not cheering them up.
Right.
But rather entering in to that space of really maybe not having to say much or do much at all.
Mm-hmm.
But and what might they need? So I'm just, as we're riffing on this a little bit.
Great way to go.
I want to talk about some people in those kind of circumstances, maybe they need their home cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could buy a service, to do that. That would be a great thing to do.
Sure.
Or maybe, you get permission, right? And I want to help, and I'd like to give you this. Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can I do the dishes? Can I do the laundry? Can I, empty the litter box?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's ways to give the gift of care.
Sure.
In this season, particularly, where what we're talking about, because it is the season of family, of cheer, of gatherings, that's just not available to some.
Yeah, or very, very difficult. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and simply saying to someone that's in that place, whether it's the season in general, maybe it's the first year, like we said, of loss of a loved one or a marriage or an expected future. I mean, that's worthy of grief.
Yeah.
Right. You don't really know what to say or what to do in that situation. I want to just bring to light in that scenario, what I have done and am trying to do less is I've approached those situations and tried to enter into them so that I feel more comfortable.
I feel better. Yeah.
So that I feel less awkward, so that I feel, just less in a position where I just feel like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And moving away from that and being able to be present to a person in their grief, in their sorrow, in their pain.
Yeah, I think there's a handful of things not to do, and they all kind of come through without getting too detailed. But, I'd be careful. Let's say it that way. Instead of not doing, I'd be careful about trying to cheer someone up or be careful about, well, you're coming with us. This will be good for you.
We're kidnapping you.
You know,
Yeah.
and I love the sentiment, but right, the sensitivity sometimes may not be there in the sentiment, and you know, to try empathy may not even be understanding. It just may be presence. So I think about something we've talked about many times when it comes with our children, adult children, anybody for that matter is what I'm about to say. But telling them how to feel and how to think, how not to feel and how not to think, that's just not helpful.
Oh man,
that's not helpful.
I heard it not that long ago. Yeah, you just need to trust in God and move on. I just want to punch the guy in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we kind of pride ourselves in this whole thing that we're talking about, at least hopefully training men to be better at it. And we were at a thing recently where one of our younger guys just got married and, you know, is 2 months, you know, into his marriage. And I made a deal about it from up front, kind of a, woohoo. Well, he said, man, you know, that was fun for a moment, but what happened after was these guys, so many guys came up. Here, let me give you one piece of advice.
Yeah, I've been married 40 years.
Yeah,
here's what you need to know.
Let me tell you what not to do. And I thought, oh no, you know. And so, you know, if we're that goofy in something like that, man, this is 10x. This is 100x. You know, when somebody is dealing with you know, something particular in that season.
Yeah, so possibly one of the most profound moments of my life, really. It was up at one of the old Top Gun events in the mountains up in Virginia, and I remember just really struggling, sitting up literally on top of the mountain. I hiked up there that day, looking out over the camp. It's beautiful, and feeling like I was in the presence of so many men that had such a connection with God. That what's wrong with me? Why hasn't God ever talked to me? Like all these guys are talking about this great experience. And so I spent some time reflecting on that. And as I was walking back down the mountain, all that was in my head was, God, I need you. I need to hear you. I need to hear your voice. I need to hear, you know, some semblance of life from you. And as I'm walking, I literally start hearing this running water in the middle of coming down a mountain. I mean, there's not really anything around but brush. It's a mess, and my legs are getting all torn up by the brambles. And I hear this running water, and so I'm thinking, God, this is crazy. And I start to walk over towards it, towards the sound, and find this running creek of just amazing, beautiful spring water. You know, a nice mountain spring that shouldn't have been there. And in my head, I was thinking about God and, you know, the sort of the analogy of the river of life and all these things. And then there's this water in the stream, and all of this is happening at once, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, just like show me some kind of light, you know, Lord, show me light. I'm almost the movie, what's the movie with Bruce Almighty where, you know, show me a sign, and he keeps going by the billboards every time, and he never, just show me a sign, and the signs are all over like falling off of trucks. It was that silly almost that I in my head phrased the words, I just need a light or something from you. And I look down in the stream, there's literally a yellow flashlight sitting in the bottom of the stream. I'm not making this up. And I was just, and so in my head, I'm just questioning, this is so stupid. There's no way this is actually happening. And I sort of made this condition with myself. If I pick up that flashlight, it works. This is real. Dude, I swear, I picked up that flashlight, flipped it. It was a pelican light covered in moss. It shone a light as clear as could be. And it was just amazing. And I kind of heard, felt, experienced, just, I hear you. See you, and I've got something for you. It was just amazing, and I've been off ever since. Like, you can't come back from that. It was pretty wonderful and pretty powerful.
I think of some friends of ours, and you know, I went through a few seasons with a good friend of ours who, man, that he was in the hospital. I mean, his cancer and the cancer battle, so what was such a gift to him and his wife and family were, can I pick up, drop off? Can I be with?
Can I take these to the laundry?
Meals,
and
meals.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
that's good any time of year.
Right.
I'm just saying at this time of year,
Right.
there's a whole hospital wing,
Oh yeah.
going on over there. And there's organizations and volunteers. And those are some people probably that you don't know, that you can be the Good Samaritan, that you can step in
Yeah.
and do some good. That's just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that are around us, who, a blanket could make a big difference. Some of, we are big fans of the rescue mission, and
Oh yeah.
a bag of clothes or so there.
Oh man,
But-
I just you're stirring up a story in me, and I don't want to sidetrack us too much. But when the year before my mom passed, she was in a rehabilitation facility, which was also a nursing home.
Yeah.
And we went to visit her around the holidays, and had a big to do, and brought her all her favorite, some of her favorite things,
Yeah.
and she was able to be with us at my sister's house for Thanksgiving. But just that time of year, going in and being with my mom, and Sherry was there, my son Steven, my sister, big family coming in and visiting her. And it wasn't the first time I had gone to visit her. And there's people in those places, no one comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nobody coming to visit.
Yeah.
And how do you minister to and meet that person, right? And so yeah, we got to do some of that, but it's just a tough time of year for a lot of folks.
Right.
And I think being in that position of, hopefully getting better about listening and engaging and
Yeah.
being empathetic. I love that you brought that up. We've shared and quoted a Brene Brown short video many times about the difference between sympathy and empathy. And empathy is not fixing the problem or pretending it's not a problem, or to somehow put some kind of a silver lining on what people are experieing.
Yeah. Well, at
It's-
least
it's
you don't.
being
At least you're not that guy, or at least you don't. At least it isn't.
Mhm.
Those are expressions.
At least you had all those years with them at Christmas.
So that's
I
an
mean,
expression. That's an expression of what I was talking about, of telling them how to think and feel.
That's right. That's
what
right.
So if you want to know how that looks, or what that's like, that's what it looks like,
Right.
and that's what it sounds like is kind of side inappropriate and insensitive encouragements.
They're inappropriate and insensitive because they're really meant to encourage you
Well,
and make you feel better
yeah.
about the uncomfortable situation
yeah.
with
You-
that person.
And you might see some of that happening in this season, and that might be even a greater time to if you witness something like that. There's a religious type to this too. That's just, well, Jesus is still on the throne, or hey, this is a time, just saying this is a time about Jesus, and I know it's been difficult for you, but da 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 da. You're like, oh my gosh, this is not helpful.
Yeah.
When we think that that's encouragement. No, that's just the opposite.
Now,
It's diminishing.
do a study of every single time that Jesus was ministering to someone who was feeling sorrow, and watch what he did. He cried with, he comforted. He never said, but just remember, I'm the Son of God, so you really don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah. No, I've got a big gift for
How
you.
ridiculous
Yeah,
does that sound,
yeah.
right? So don't say it, yeah, man, it's, and again, I get it. It can be awkward. It can be uncomfortable.
Right.
There's some situations where you're interacting with someone who is in a difficult space, grieving, sorrowful, experiencing loss, whatever it might be, where again, going back to what you mentioned it at the beginning of this episode, the best thing you might be able to do is not say anything at all. And just say, hey, I don't even know what to say right now. I just want to be with you.
Yeah. So that's different. Thank you for saying that, because one of the places I was going to go next is you really even have to be careful with the questions that you ask them that have a good intention, but and are looking for some permission, as if they have their faculties about them and their wits about them and the ability to answer that. So, hey, could I come over and I'd like to bring you something? No, I'd rather you not. Okay, well, how about I do have something for you. So I'm going to leave it on the door, and I'll text you when I'm gone. You know, I mean, you have to be kind of on your game here. Or, hey, I'm going to drop something off real quick. And then if you can get through that security system, right? And then there's the, hopefully you're not, doing it as an errand, but you've actually planned like, okay, I have an hour here or two. I'm going to do it where I could then see if John or Jane, you bring it over, said, hey, would it be okay if I came in and just sat with you for a while?
Can we just have a cup of coffee or something?
Yeah. Could I make you some coffee? Could I make you some tea? I'll try to be quiet, but I just want you to know I'm thinking about you and I care. And if I can help, I really want to help. And that, you got to see where it goes, from there.
Sure.
Because most people will not want to inconvenience someone else.
Right.
They think of it that way.
Yeah.
So do you press in? Do you push in? Do you offer a little more? Probably, maybe. Walk with God.
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
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 And
which is hard.
Yeah. Don't say I was listening to these guys on a podcast and they said to come do this, But so be careful.
If you do that, say it's some other podcast. Yeah.
It's Rogan.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I think this, but if your radar is up, and I think everybody knows what we're talking about, that there are people that this is hard. It's challenging, and and that's the ones about. That's the ones that you can kind of see and feel that, yeah, somehow you have a clue about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of others that hide it well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. To that point, we've largely been talking about, folks that we might interact with that have experienced a loss or just find the holidays hard. The changes that come as you go through life. So I'll give you an example. Last year, every year leading up to that, now I'm talking about Thanksgiving now, not about Christmas, but every year leading up to that I can remember. Turkey, stuffing, traditional football on the TV, family around, all of that. And last year, Stephen and Autumn shared with me, with Sherry and I, that they weren't going to come down from Philadelphia for Thanksgiving because they come down at Christmas. And I get it. It's 9.5 hours. Traffic is a nightmare, right? It's hard on their...
Thanksgiving's the worst.
Oh, their cats
it's concentrated.
Hate to travel. I mean, it's like all of that, right?
It's the worst travel.
So all of that. So I get it. And I'm a fan. So Sherry and I are offered this condo in Marco Island, Florida, and for the Thanksgiving week. And we're like, well, shoot, we'll go to Marco Island, Florida, and who wouldn't want to go there in November when it's starting to get cold, So we get down there and it's great. We're moving through, our time, I think we had 5 or 6 days down there, whatever it was. And Thanksgiving Day comes and I've bought fresh fish and I'm going to make, because Sherry loves fish and she more loves the way that I prepare it for her. And we're having to get footballs on and we had a great meal. And all of a sudden it just hits me. Like, this is the first time I can remember that Thanksgiving isn't really what it used to be.
Yeah.
And
This isn't right.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was kind of blindsided by, just, wow, what does this mean? Is it, we're getting older, our kids are starting, or really have their own life, not starting, have their own lives. Stephen and Autumn had just gotten married, so just all of that kind of snuck up on me, and it was fantastic. We had a wonderful time, but it was still hard at the same time. So I bring that up to say, we're all kind of moving through life, and even as you're trying to keep your head on a swivel for interacting with people in your life where the holidays might be difficult.
Yeah.
That might be one of the reasons it's difficult.
Right.
Is because the kids are gone.
Yeah.
Or
this is
things are changing, right?
My wife particularly and others of us have been a bit versed, while others like my wife have been really trained on these transitions, liminal space,
Mm-hmm.
the in-betweens, and there are, we know that there's transitions, they're happening all the time, but some of them weigh a lot more.
Yeah.
Some of them hit a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have, that's different. To your point, I know you would say this in a second, but, losses come in all kinds of sizes and packages and big and small, and the loss of a tradition, a loss of something that we've done. We always used to do this, and it's just a life cycle. And like you said, of course, they have to establish, for them, what's going to be, what works for them. It doesn't mean that it won't blindside you or dawn on you, even in a moment, because you might even say weeks in advance, well, sure, hon, of course.
That makes a ton of sense.
That you're going to go, to the in-laws and outlaws and then to our house at Christmas, right? And so you get in that space of, like we were in, how do you, if they don't live in the same town, you've got to make some, choices. And so even to navigate that liminal, transitional, in-between spaces, I think is something that the holidays can somehow bolster and somehow make. They're weightier,
right. And amplifies it.
Amplifies, good word.
Yeah,
amplifies them.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
We've said this for many years at different conferences and places. It's just never, ever true. It's never true, Andy. It's never true, SJ, that I went into this with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not true. We all are so
right. Having no expectations is still having an expectation.
That alone, we are wired and bound to, certain expectations that you don't even know you had them until they weren't met.
Right.
Well, I didn't expect the kids to come home. Yeah, you did. I didn't expect this to go on forever. Yeah, you did. Because your emotions are showing.
Right.
And telling.
Right. Are telling on you.
That you did.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Yeah. That's where you can be honest, and the grief and the sadness can begin, and journaling. So I want to talk about, not remedies, and not coping. That's not what I'm talking about, but ways to move in this season.
Yeah. And what's that, and tie that in with practicing the recognition of the presence of God. Right.
Yeah.
Because, as we've talked about some of these, ways to move and way to be present to other people.
Yep.
You've got to be connected to the one that gives you the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Shoot.
So, I think when I kick this off, it'll light you up a bit to contribute. But here's a significant thing, a significant way to move in the midst of what might be really challenging. Can you honor that relationship by doing something that you loved doing in that relationship? And so if what you miss is turkey instead of fish,
right,
that you can honor that and keep that going. Fish is fine.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, you're right. You lit me up. So one of the things that I did the year after my mom died, she loved to play cribbage. She was, some would say, a cheater, but
isn't that
she
partners?
Yeah,
isn't it a team?
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
Okay.
Some accused her, kind of on the side of like, where'd that 5 come from? And so she was funny that way. Yeah, she was funny that way. She played that way in Scrabble too. Like, I don't think that's a word.
No, nobody. Yeah.
But she played the grandma card a lot. I'm the grandmother, and so
this is a word.
You shouldn't question me.
Okay.
But it was like that with cribbage too. So, but it was fun. It was all in good fun. So I taught Stephen how to play cribbage, and so now we play. In
honor of
that's right.
and
I cheat. No, that's not true.
That's great. So many other things flow from this one that I think. Here's another way I would say it. If you could do one thing in this season, or in that one in a day, what's one thing today that I could do that would honor this person that I miss,
or this tradition,
or this tradition that I miss connected to that person, or this thing, even Christmas Vacation. When he gets stuck up in the attic,
It's good. It's good.
When he gets stuck up in the attic and he's watching the movies, he's watching the films, the 8mm. I know that's a stupid example, but
well, that movie itself is a tradition.
Yes,
for so many people. Yeah.
And even though he's got a turban on to stay warm and his grandma's fur coat, when you see the film, when you see what he's watching, you're brought right into alignment with, oh, that's good. That's good. So
that's what he's longing for and trying to recreate.
To remember, to honor, and it may take all your strength to do it.
Yeah.
It may take everything you got that day.
Yeah.
But those are, getting out some of the things that were given. And I'm not trying to, I'm suggesting this differently than, well, you should just go on ahead with everything, the numbing or that. I'm saying, no, this is about honoring, not numbing.
Yeah.
That. And I think those are, that it'll challenge anyone who's under grief or dealing with that. But I think it's a way, and you may need some help. I love the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. What's the bravest thing? What's the bravest thing that
you've ever said?
You've ever said? Help. Right? Help is not giving up. Help is asking for help is refusing to give up.
That's right. And
if you're in that space and it's hard, letting someone know and therefore then letting someone in is probably one of the most courageous things you could do this season and in this time. And I hope and pray that they're a good one. Yeah. Whoever you call upon, that they would be the kind. Send them this episode first, and invite them to just I don't need you to clean anything, fix anything, or do anything, but could you just come?
Yeah.
Be
right
here.
Be present.
Be present. Yeah. So
yeah, man, really, really good. So, next episode we'll we're going to talk about and celebrate a little bit how God came near.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, I hope you feel his nearness and presence this time of year the way that
it's in the
I
air.
think it's
It is in
Yeah.
the air. It's something that does come, in these late December days, and the opportunity, I think, to I always think of Linus in the Peanuts Christmas.
It's a great one.
Just those few moments. Oh, we've talked about it, I think, on other episodes, other years.
Oh,
so anyway, I think we can, hopefully be an encouragement to, I'm going to wear one of my crazy Christmas sweaters.
Me too, bud. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see who's got the game in that regard.
No,
But
I don't want to compete.
Oh, okay, we're not competing. We're not competing. It's not a competition. It doesn't always have to be a competition.
No, I don't want people out there to vote or anything. I don't want to be, but I think I think it'll be fun because
It will.
it's one of those Christmas party
Oh,
depending on your party.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a little bit of a reputation for that at Christmas parties. I got all shirts and all kinds of fun stuff. I do want to say though, in the interest of community, if you have anything that you'd like to share in the comment section, about how you met someone in the Christmas season and when they were at a hard spot, or how you've been missed during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your stories. Yeah. So, send us an email, exploringmore@zoe.org, or leave a comment below.
And my last thought contribution on this one would be, how traditions start? One in a row.
One in a row.
The first time.
That's right.
And so maybe this is a season that you start something new in the midst of some things that have their weight or the weightiness to them. So
that's great, man.
Yeah. Hey, Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next time on the Exploring More podcast.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoe.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoe on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoe on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.